Yo, it's Zero, and today I have another movie for you guys. I know it's not Movie Monday, but I figured I wanted to do this series. It's been on my mind for a while. If you do keep up with my community tab, and you've seen the thumbnail already, you know what this what if is about. What if Naruto was like the Joker? And this is inspired by one of you that commented something like this on one of my other videos. I can't actually remember what video it was, but I did screenshot the comment and post it on my community tab to give credit to that person. But if you do like movies like this or a series like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new or just haven't already, as this does help my channel out a lot. And also join the Discord where you can text me anytime and follow my or subscribe to my second channel as well. And without any more wait at all, let's get started.
Yo, let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how I rock.
Okay, so this is going to be such a different type of story where, oh no, there's no script for this. I'm just basically going off my ideas right now. And I think it would be pretty interesting to see a story take such a dark twist like this one. So let's get right into it. We'll start with around, let's say, a 6-year-old Naruto, who, well, he does pull his pranks around the village, but surprisingly, he gets adopted by a nice family actually. A woman and a man who couldn't have kids because of medical reasons. And so Naruto was actually happy and stopped pulling pranks because of this. However, when the word got out that Naruto had the Nine-Tails sealed within him, or he was the Nine-Tailed Beast, the village then shunned this family as hard as they could, torturing them at any time they could. But to Naruto, this didn't matter, as he had a family that loved him, a mom and a dad. They made sure to tell Naruto that it is never his fault, and they always tell him to love his home and cherish the people within the Leaf Village, as they don't know how the outside world would actually look at him. It could be worse. So think of this as just something he has to go through to get where he wants to be in life, as they do support Naruto's dream to become the Hokage. Naruto feels so loved here, so welcomed. This warmth is something he wasn't ready for. It was something new to him. Sure, Hiruzen would always check on him and gave him monthly rent, but that just felt more like Hiruzen was doing it because he felt like he had to. This feels like someone who wants to, not something that was given to someone. Naruto enjoys this time with them for months, even a year almost, as Naruto's around 7 now, and comes home to something that couldn't have been predicted. Something insane almost. But before I get into what Naruto saw, let's do a little bit more, or let's go into more depth about what's been going on for this year. Naruto's father was a Jonin ninja who trained day in and day out, as he also would train Naruto. This greatly improved Naruto's, his smarts and his skill and his actual ninja prowess, as his father does help him manage to control his chakra to an extent, but Naruto is such a small child that there isn't really much he can do with it, as a jutsu would be too much for him at this point. And Naruto, well, he doesn't make many friends, but his family, or the family that he was in, did know people, and some of the kids that Naruto hung with in the original will still hang out with him here. But let's go back into what Naruto saw when he walked home from a regular day, in the Leaf Village for him, because by this time, I don't think he would want to go to the academy. He was self-taught at home, and this was fine with him. He didn't have many interactions with them, but sure, this was fine. Well, taking lessons from home, he actually enjoyed it better because none of the kids teased him. Okay, let's get into what Naruto sees. I'm talking too much about this. Naruto opens the door, happy, has a smile on his face, ready to smell the meal that his mother was cooking, because she would always cook when he came home, and he wanted to see his father sitting down with a kunai in hand to go outside with him and to teach something. will teach him something. But that's not what he saw at all. Naruto would drop everything in his hands as he would just fall to the ground. No! Tears begin to flood from his eyes as he looks in front of him, and then we can finally see it. Both of his parents, well, they weren't killed. No. Sure, the village tormented them, and it just wasn't enough. They couldn't take it anymore. So, they each decided to take their own lives, hanging themselves in their living room. Naruto sees this, and he screams as loud as he can, causing panic among people who live near their house. Naruto cried as hard as he could for help, but no one came. And when someone did arrive, well, you could imagine what they thought. You could imagine what they would say, as here is where it happens for Naruto. His change into this universe's Joker. Or at least I can say this is where the change begins. As one person, well, among the confusion, one person points out Naruto to be the one that made this happen. He made them do this in order for them to, well, this person would say something along the lines of, you threatened them to do this, or else you'd release the Nine Tails. You did this on purpose, even though they did everything for you. Naruto couldn't even speak because of how in shock he was from his parents even doing this. He thought they loved him. Why would they leave him alone like this? Why? Did he do something to cause this? No, maybe he didn't. Did he? Naruto couldn't think straight, as he could only remember the good times that they had, and one thing truly stuck out to him. His father would always tell him, in your moment of need, or when you feel sad, try to laugh as hard as you can. It'll always make you feel better laughing at any type of situation you're in, 'cause it could always be worse, Naruto. Naruto, for some reason, with tears rolling down his face, would grab his face and start laughing as hard as he could, seeming psychotic to those villagers who were around. He laughed like a maniac, causing many of them to back away. But many of the other ninja who were there confronted Naruto and would actually knock him out, seeing him as a threat, thinking that he was going to release the Nine Tails. When Naruto awoke, he was in an isolated room by himself, and he was in, what are those things called that they put certain prisoners in? I think they're called straitjackets, but you can correct me if you want, but I don't really care. He was in something like that, where he couldn't even move his hands or his legs. He was laying down in this weird room, but there was nothing but himself. Naruto would look around, wondering. First he started to cry, hoping that everything that had happened the day before was a dream, but it wasn't. Naruto then heard the voice of someone, well, sort of on an intercom. Naruto would hear the voice of Hiruzen as he would speak. Naruto, can you hear me? Naruto could only nod, as he was still trying to process everything going around him. He was only about 7 years old, so why does it feel like he's in a jail cell? Did he truly do something wrong to the villagers? How could they hate him so much? Why do they hate him? Hiruzen explained that he's been accused of murder of 2 innocent people, and that he's gonna have to stay here for a while, or else the villagers will kill him themselves. And Naruto can only look down, disappointed. Did he do this murder? No, he couldn't have. His parents meant everything to him. He tried to explain to Hiruzen, but Hiruzen told him that there was nothing he could do. He had to keep Naruto here until further notice from the villagers, or until he could prove Naruto's innocence. Hiruzen spent only a month trying to do so before he gave up, becoming flooded with paperwork. Naruto, well, he would get visits from certain people that Hiruzen sent that way to give him food every once in a while, but it was only the bare minimum, because these people also hated Naruto and wouldn't give him full meals. Naruto, after many months of just suffering through this torture, then began to think to himself, changing, well, his mental state for the worse. Naruto's thoughts, well, I'll try to do an impersonation of what I believe they would be like at this time. I didn't kill them. No, I couldn't do that. They're crazy. They're all crazy. I would never do something like that to my beloved parents. Mom, Dad, I know you're watching me. Can you see how they're treating your beloved son? I'm such an innocent child, aren't I? Mom, what are you going to cook for dinner tonight? I hope it's delicious. The food here is terrible. And Dad, are we going to go train sometime? I'd love for you to teach me a new jutsu. I think I'm big enough to actually try one myself now. You don't have to just show me anymore. Naruto would begin talking to imaginary figures that he believed were his parents, as mental health would go down or downward spike. Not a downward spike, it would just go down. Naruto truly became, well, a joker. Naruto would spin around this room multiple times, thinking of ways to escape. Months would pass as he would grow even more insane, oftentimes slamming his head against the walls, trying to jump off the walls, and eventually he built up the strength to somehow bust out of the straitjacket, surprising those guards who were watching him. They would run into the room and Naruto would fight against them, punching against them. They were his strength, his speed. Had he been training when they weren't watching? Why are his physical stats so amazing? And his tricks. He pulled sneaky tricks like taking their kunai and throwing them at one another, making them hit each other. Stuff like that. Naruto, every time they did something like this, would just do the laugh of a maniac. Yeah, he would just laugh at them, almost scaring them and sending shivers down their spine. Naruto was truly something, but he couldn't beat two seasoned ninja, as he would oftentimes be knocked out and put in another straitjacket. But as soon as he would just break out again. Naruto, whenever he did this, would just get beat up again by the guards, but his pain tolerance would grow. Oftentimes he would do it on purpose, just for the fun of it. When these guards would beat him up, he would begin laughing like a maniac. This scared them even more, causing them to often report it to Hiruzen. Hiruzen himself would actually go to see Naruto after about a year of him in this place, this almost hell-like area. Hiruzen would then speak through the intercom to Naruto. Naruto, I still haven't proven your innocence, but how are you doing? I do get some various reports about your behavior. Would you like to, well, go outside for a little bit? Naruto would then turn his head towards where he thinks the sound is coming and walk up to a corner in the room where Hiruzen stood on the other side looking through a sort of glass mirror at Naruto. Naruto began laughing at him. You old fool, when I get out of here, well, the leaf won't know what hit him. They'll be laughing just like me. Naruto begins laughing, walking off while ripping off the straitjacket once again. The guards were about to be sent in until Hiruzen stopped them. Wait, I want to see something. Naruto would stand at the ready, in a battle stance, thinking that the guards were about to walk in. But nothing happened. Hiruzen here would actually sit here for hours, watching Naruto and almost studying him like a creature in a zoo. This is where Hiruzen would listen in to what Naruto was saying to himself. He would hear various conversations that Naruto would have with imaginary figures who he calls his parents. This must be his way of coping, he would think. Truly sad. Maybe he does need to get Naruto out of here and into some fresh air. Hiruzen would think to release him until someone would walk in to stop him. This person was Danzo, who had kept a very close eye on Naruto. You can't release that animal. Just look at him. Watch this. Danzo would then send in one of his root members who had a blade at the ready. Naruto hadn't seen a weapon like this in a while, as this was the first time seeing a sword since the death of his father. Naruto looked at it. It intrigued him, as he would say something. As he looked in a corner to where Naruto sees a person, but no one else can see anything, he would then say, "Oh, you want that new sword, father? Well, I like it too. I'll make sure to get it for you after I kill this person." Naruto began slowly walking at this Anbu member, who was kind of freaked out by his actions, as anyone else would be. This Anbu member then swung the blade at Naruto, but he dodged, pulling out a kunai, well, from his shirt that no one had even seen. Naruto slices across this person's cheek and then he licks the blood off of it as it would drip down. Tasty. I'll rip out your guts and eat them. Naruto jumps over this person and kicks them in the back of the neck, sending them into the ground. But the ground here wasn't that hard, so this person was fine, getting up and actually taking Naruto serious, to the point where Naruto, well, he lost his fight. Naruto now would sit back down, actually not being tied up. He was expecting it to happen, but they had stopped after a while, seeing that Naruto could just break out of any bind it would get him into, which actually scared them. They didn't know if Naruto knew how to get out of this room or not. Danzo would thank the Anbu member for their work and release them for the day, and he would tell Hiruzen, "He's an animal. Keep him in there until he rots to death, and stop feeding him. Let him die. We can find a new Jinchuriki." This is when something peculiar actually happens. Naruto begins talking to someone, well, that he hadn't talked to in a while. He only talks to this person, well, when he gets injured. Hiruzen and Danzo watch as Naruto begins this conversation. Naruto would turn his back to the mirror that was on the other side of the wall, as they couldn't see what he was doing, but they could hear him. Naruto reached out his hand and began petting the air. "You're such a cute little fox, my best friend. How are you doing today, Kurama? I'm sorry to lend on your power so much, but could you heal me up a little bit?" Well, Naruto would then get an orange glow around his body, as all his cuts and bruises would start to fade away. This shocked Danzo and Hiruzen, who immediately wanted to act now, but they didn't, as they were scared. Could Naruto truly access the power of the Nine Tails at will? And how could he do this? Truly, how was this even possible? Unknowingly to Hiruzen, when Naruto was adopted, well, his mother had weakened his seal for him, thinking that it may help him out in the future. And this is what was happening now, as Naruto was talking to a smaller version of Kurama who he imagined in his mind. This had only been going on for about 3 months, as Naruto, after being injured one time, he was awoken in the place of Kurama, or his mindscape, you could say. And this is where the two would actually bond, having many things in common. They were chained up, and they were hated in the place that they live. Kurama would actually feel bad for Naruto here, as he's just a kid with so much on his shoulders. He didn't ask for all these bad things to happen. He didn't want to live the life that he lived. And here's where I'm actually going to change a little bit about Kurama. Because of Naruto's influence within his mind, and Kurama being stuck with Naruto basically, Kurama would actually act like Naruto in a sense. Basically, his other half in a way. I feel like I should do this to spice up the story a little bit, add a little more character to it. That way you guys can enjoy it a little more. And it'll make it feel more realistic, you know what I mean? But this is a what if, so really don't take it serious, as I didn't really plan to write it, and I'm thinking of things on the fly. Anyways, Naruto would stand up, being healed, but still having that orange glow around his body. "Hey Kurama, you think we should show them a trick? They are watching us after all." Hiruzen and Danzo were scared. No, they were terrified. How was Naruto able to do this? And what was he finna do? Naruto walks over to where the mirror is on the other side of the wall. He can't see it, but they can see him, as I stated before. Naruto, his eyes then turn red as he gets the biggest smile on his face that creeps them out. Naruto places both of his hands on the wall, and then with all of his strength infused with the power of Kurama, he rips down the wall, causing their jaws to drop, and everyone or every ninja that was in that area to be alerted and run that way. When this group of ninjas would arrive, they would see Naruto only staring at Danzo and Hiruzen while laughing. "Oh man, you should look at your faces. I truly scared you, didn't I? Hey old man, who's your friend? He's pretty old too. Mind if I train with him for a little bit? Ah, you got some bandages there. What's under him? Are you hiding something? Naruto would put his face in front of Danzo's, and Danzo would only push him back, as Naruto would fall to the ground. Well, that wasn't very nice of you. How about you help me up? Naruto holds out his hand, and they all stare at him. And Hiruzen starts to think this is harmless, as he would go to grab Naruto's hand, but Danzo would stop him, saying that he'll have an Anbu member do it himself. This Anbu member goes to help Naruto up, but his hand is then stabbed through by a kunai. And Naruto would smile. Gotcha! Isn't that a cool trick? You want to see some more? I got some crazy tricks, but they might be a little too much for you right now. Anyways, I think I want to see what the world looks like now. It has been about 2 years, hasn't it? Hiruzen would tell Naruto that he still hasn't proven his innocence and that he should stay here. And Naruto would only look at him, this time his smile disappearing as he glared at Hiruzen. My innocence? My innocence? Well, who cares about that? They didn't care that I was a kid. They didn't care that they forced my family to... Well, they didn't. Naruto then began getting flashbacks to that day, as his head would begin hurting. This trauma was too much for a child like him. He began banging his head on the walls until he knocked himself out. He would awaken in the room again, as Naruto was in this room, but it changed. Because he was so used to the isolation room, he pictured that everywhere. But he was in a different room now. He was in a room that was still kind of isolated, but it was brighter. There were colorful things around. What was this? Naruto would sit up, thinking that this was some sort of dream placed on himself, or he was placed in a genjutsu. And he does know about this from Kurama. But Naruto was in a hospital bed. He looks around and he sees no one, though. This was weird. How could this be? Naruto would then look through the big old glass window that was on his left, as he would see multiple kids looking at him. He would wave, and these kids would just run off, scared of him. Naruto began smiling. Who cares about their opinion? I'm the greatest after all. Let's see, though. I wonder if I can get out of here. Naruto would try to kick down the door, but it was a reinforced one, so his kid strength couldn't do anything. Well, that's no fun. You can't keep me out of the party. I wonder where those kids went. It looks like they were having a blast. Naruto keeps looking through until someone walks by the door. This was Danzo, as he had a group of Anbu members standing behind him. They would then, go through the door as Naruto would back up, sitting on the bed. Oh, you came to visit me. Did you bring any flowers? I haven't seen any of those in a long time. This room's pretty cool. I can see the sun from over here. But where am I? I haven't been on this side of the leaf. Why does the leaf look a little different, too? You've been gone for a while, and we did some reconstruction without worrying about your pranks. Anyways, I put you in here to detain you. Hiruzen did a terrible job. And you've grown too strong, Ninetails. That's not my name. My name starts with an N, but it's not Ninetails. Come on, say it with me. I know you know it. It has 2 parts to it, a first name and a last name, just like you. But I don't know your name. Why don't you introduce yourself? You know it's rude to walk in without knocking. Naruto, shut up. There it is. You do know it. And what's my last name? I know you know it too. Danzo would think that this kid is literally insane. Why was he talking like this? Why was he so joyful? Even though he was in isolation for 2 years for something that he didn't even do. Could they not break his spirit? No, that wasn't it. He broke his own spirit. Danzo would just leave the room, leaving his Anbu in there to watch Naruto. The Anbu then decide to beat up Naruto and keep him weak. That way, it'd be easier to watch him. They did this for a while until Naruto began growing stronger. For some reason, he was really good at adapting to attacks and making them his own. He was picking up on a lot of things from them, and over time, it began to get harder and harder for them to actually defeat Naruto. Another year would pass, and I know I'm kind of pacing it slow, but there's a reason for this. Naruto's around 9 years old. He was different from everyone else. He knew that. He could see ghosts, he could say. Well, he would say to himself. He could see the dead. He could see many things. Many jokes he would tell. He thought they were hilarious. He wondered why no one else thought so. They all seemed to look at him while he laughed, but it didn't matter to him. His father would always tell him, keep laughing no matter how bad it gets. And those were the words that rang through his head on a daily, so he continued to do so. Even if they couldn't see his parents, or see the dead ghost that he could see, they did notice that Naruto had his fox friend, and the Anbu members that watched him eventually became overwhelmed by this Naruto. They did watch him, but on the times that he knew that they weren't watching him, he would train his hardest. This fueled him. For some reason he was attached to this. Maybe it was because he wanted to become the Hokage, and he wanted to make his mom proud. Or maybe it was because his father always drove him to strength. He loved how strong his father was, and maybe he wants to get that strong. It was something about training that just, it warmed his heart. Naruto did this, and one day, he was caught by an Anbu member who walked in holding a blade. This Anbu member then took off his mask, revealing who he was. Don't worry, it's not anyone that we know, but this person, he's the person that Naruto stabbed in the hand a while ago. You damn brat. Well, now I have a reason to kill you. You're trying to get strong, aren't you? I'll show you what true strength is. And no more of them goddamn jokes. I'll kill you here. Naruto looks at him. No more jokes? But I love jokes, don't you? Naruto, he would surprise the man. And I know he's gonna go off canon rules, but forget it. It's a what if. I could do stuff like this. Naruto, in front of him, would poof, turning into thin air. What? Where is he? No, he couldn't have escaped this room. The person would look off at the sealed window that Naruto surely couldn't have broken out of, because it would be open. Did he sneak past the door when it was open and leave this clone here? No, that didn't make sense. The man was twisting and turning, trying to find where Naruto was, and then he realized there was nothing in here but the hospital bed and a small, something else. It was kind of like a stand, that they have in hospitals. I don't know how to explain it. But he would slowly walk over to the bed holding his blade. He would crouch down and lay his face on the floor, looking under the bed, to see Naruto, who then stabbed him in the eye with the needle that was left in by one of the nurses. He had stolen it from her. Yeah, she didn't leave it in the room. He stole it and stabbed this man in the eye, injecting a serum. This serum coursed through his body, and this person also began laughing. What was this? It felt good to this person. He loved it. Naruto began laughing as well. Doesn't it feel good to be like me? I'll make everyone laugh. Just like you wanted, father. Everyone will laugh in bad times. Surely they'll love it. I wonder if I can be the Hokage like this. What do you think, Mom? Hey, Kurama, do you want to go see the outside world? It's been a while since you've seen it too, hasn't it? The fox would agree, as Naruto was taken out of this room by this Anbu member. They walk outside of the hospital and get fresh air, as Naruto would hand him multiple needles inside of a bag that he had when he had stolen it from one of the nurses who checked on him. This bag had so many needles with that serum in it, this green serum. What was it? The person would ask, but Naruto would only put his fingers against his lips. That's a secret. You know I can't tell you that. But I'm gonna need you to help me out. Go inject this into all your friends, cause I know they'll come find me. But with your help, we'll make everyone laugh just like us. This person or Anbu member would nod, believing Naruto, as Naruto would walk around the village. He actually used the transformation jutsu to disguise himself into another person, enjoying this freedom. The fresh air smelled so great to him, and the flowers he saw, oh man, they were beautiful. But Naruto didn't like the clothes that he had, so he changed his outfit, as he wore, a purple and black outfit now. It didn't really go with anything, but he felt that it was funny, so he wants people to laugh. Well, he would want people to laugh when they saw him. Naruto de-transforms and goes to greet one of his old friends. Walks over to the Uchiha clan compound. Well, y'all might be confused. Because the Nine Tails was locked up for most of his life, and I'm talking about Naruto, there was no need to get rid of the Uchiha because they couldn't form a coup d'etat without the Nine Tails. That was the one thing that they truly needed. But with that out of the factor, they gave up on it and just tried to change the Leaf from getting into its system, as many of them had different jobs within the Leaf's government. Naruto would walk to Fugaku's house, as many of the Uchiha didn't know who he was. It had been some time since he's seen him, and Naruto's hair wasn't cut, it was long, dragging in his face, but he'd oftentimes slick parts of it back and smile. This is when people would start to recognize him, and they would run off to get Fugaku, who was out doing something within the village, and they would go to get Itachi as well. Naruto walks in to see, I forgot her name, Mikoto? I believe that's Sasuke's mom's name, and Sasuke, sitting at the dining room table eating. Sasuke had thought Naruto died, but he thought Naruto died, and he would tell Naruto this. How are you alive? The Leaf said you died. Death? I didn't die. Well, maybe that part of me did. The part that you knew. This is a new me. He's way more fun. Don't you think, Sasuke? I do remember times you beat me up as a kid. So, how about we fight now? I think I can take you pretty good. Whoa. Pause. Pause. I know I'm reading just like off the top of my head. Pause. That was so bad. That was literally terrible. I'm going to keep this in there, though, because I'm not going to edit this out. That was literally terrible, but let's keep going. After Naruto says that, Sasuke steps up to fight him, and his mother would warn him that this Naruto seems stronger, and he needs to be careful. He'll go get his father. He should wait for him. Sasuke then tells his mom that he'll protect her. There's no way that Naruto could beat him, but before he could finish his sentence, Naruto's fist was slammed into his face as he would go into a wall. Ha, got you with the first punch. You know there's no ding 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 bells when we fight. We just fight. That's how ninjas work. Isn't that right? Well, you'll have to teach me more about it, cause I've missed a lot. You think you could catch me up on some studying too? What the hell is he? Sasuke would think. This punch, it feels like it broke his jaw, as he would spit out something, and it was one of his teeth. Naruto would walk over and pick it up. Ha, pretty dandy. As he would then flick it into Sasuke's throat, causing him to start choking, but he did manage to spit it back up. Naruto would then, while Sasuke was on the ground, he would kick him in his chest, causing Sasuke to cough up a little blood. Come on, Sasuke, isn't this fun? Remember how you used to beat up on me in front of everyone? They thought it was so funny. So why aren't you laughing? Naruto would turn to Sasuke's mom. Don't you think it's funny? Why don't you laugh? See? Naruto kicks him as hard as he can, and Sasuke would feel it, coughing up a larger amount of blood. His mother didn't know what to do. She was in shock, but maybe if she laughed, Naruto would leave him alone. So she did, and Naruto found this funny as well. Look at that, Sasuke. She finds it funny. You should laugh as well. And his mom would tell him to laugh, and Sasuke tells Naruto to piss off. And Naruto's smile goes into a frown, as he would punch Sasuke onto the ground and walk over into the kitchen. What are you cooking? I'm kinda hungry. It's been a while since I ate a full meal. They don't serve good food where I stay at. When Fugaku and Itachi get word of where Naruto was, they would run that way, along with many other Uchiha, Anbu, and just shinobi who knew about Naruto. Or top-ranked jonin, basically, because those were the only ones who knew. They would walk into the house of Fugaku. Well, Fugaku and Itachi would walk in first to see everything, as they told everyone else to wait outside, as they would see something that they never thought they would see. Naruto was smiling, eating a full meal while sitting with Sasuke and Mikoto. Sasuke did have a couple bruises on him, and he was bleeding from the side of his head. But other than that, he seemed kind of fine, just a little angry. And Mikoto, no, she looked as pale as ever. Something had to be wrong. Naruto would then turn to them. Oh, hey, are you guys going to eat dinner too? Is this your family? Mikoto would nod, smiling and telling Naruto who Itachi and Fugaku were, as she was putting on an act for the boy, but he loved it. He believed every part of it. Naruto then would call them over. Come on, she picked this great meal. Don't you want to try it? Itachi would then go to pull out a blade, but Fugaku would put his hand on his shoulder. Act normal. We can get rid of him easily. Just play along for a little bit till I give you a signal. Right, father. My fault. I don't think he'd say that, but yeah, I don't know. They sit down and they start to eat with Naruto, asking him how he's been as they haven't seen him for a while. Naruto would explain what he's been doing and who he's been training with, or the partner he has, as he would then look around, well, to the ground, and he would pull out his fork out of his food and go to push it in the air to someone who wasn't there. It's pretty good, Mom. You should try to make it yourself. Maybe she can give you the recipe. Makoto would then turn to Naruto. Who are you talking to? My mom. Can't you see her? They would all turn to where Naruto's fork was, as they all gave each other a collective look to know what was really going on. Naruto had gone insane. They would just nod and lie to him again, and Naruto would then feed to a dog, but it wasn't their dog, as their dog was next to Sasuke. No, Naruto was feeding to an imaginary one. This was Kurama. It's pretty good, right, Kurama? I like the outside world too. It's pretty fun. Maybe there's some more fun things I can do. What do you guys think? They all looked at him, as this is when Fugaku stood up and now held a sword to his throat. Enough with the games. I'm gonna kill you here and now to get rid of our problems. We Uchiha can deal with the Nine Tails using our genjutsu. So, we're not worried about finding another Jinchuriki. Naruto then puts his fork back on his plate, and he looks back down to where he said Kurama was. You hear that, Kurama? They don't want us around anymore. So maybe we should stop people like this. They're evil, aren't they? Yeah, evil people don't deserve to exist. We need to get stronger though, right, Kurama? The imaginary fox would nod to Naruto, as Naruto would stand up. I really don't like how you all were lying to me. And speaking of that, what do you think's happening outside right now? Fugaku was confused, but then the rest of the Anbu and ninja would start walking in, as this was Naruto's plan. They all began laughing as they walked in, greeting Naruto and actually kneeling to him. What? What was going on? These Anbu, Jonin, and Uchiha were just kneeling to Naruto. This didn't make sense at all. Naruto then confronted the one that he had stabbed in the hand a long time ago. What a good job you do. I'm gonna name you Fluffy, cause that's what your hair looks like to me. You're my commander. Well, go out. I don't need you here. Hey Fugaku, what do you want? Do you still want to fight me? And my army? Why would I fight you alone? Are you scared you'll lose? What are you talking about? Why would I lose? You can't beat me. I have my army here. Are you saying you can't fight me one-on-one? Who said that I had to do that? Who made those rules? I don't see any rule books around here. Do you got any floating around? You're a weirdo, mister. Hey, Itachi. Itachi then looked at Naruto. Isn't this your friend? Wait, how do you... Shisui then stood up laughing. Come on, Itachi. Come join me. I'm having a blast over here. You too, Sasuke. They were all in shock as Naruto and his Anbu would then leave. Fugaku would try to stop them along with Itachi, but they were swarmed by some of their own clan members who just stopped them, forcing them to sit back down and eat while they would watch. Naruto leaves and marches across the leaf, going to the Hokage building. Naruto goes through and he steals and gets a lot of other things that he needs, along with weapons, as he would make it to the office of Hiruzen. Keep in mind, Naruto is only 8, about turning 9 here, so he's still pretty short. He kicks open the door instead of opens it regularly. And Hiruzen is shocked to see him. He had heard word that Naruto had gotten out, but he thought Naruto would want to leave the Leaf Village. But he didn't. He's right here in front of him. Did you miss me, old man? I know you did. You don't have to make that face. Hiruzen then had multiple guards jump through the windows, and Naruto had multiple guards enter into the door behind him. Well, we both have our own kind of guards, if you want to call them that. They're pretty useful. I took this idea from you and Danzo. but I think I want that chair. And I did tell my mom that I'd be the Hokage, so I need to put that, well, I need to make it happen, don't you think? Naruto, the Hokage position isn't something that you can just take. That was the wrong answer. I don't care what you have to say. I'd like that seat and that cool hat you're wearing. I'm not much of a hat guy myself, but I think I look pretty dang sharp in that one. Naruto would run forward as an Anbu member would step in front of him holding the sword to his throat. But his own Anbu would then block that sword. Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot, Fluffy. You mind dealing with him for me? This Anbu member would nod as the rest would follow suit, killing off Hiruzen's Anbu. Well, Hiruzen would think that they were killed, but actually, they were injected with more of the serum that Naruto had made himself. This is when Hiruzen was shocked. He didn't know what to do, so he began fighting. Hiruzen, well, let's think. This Hiruzen is old, but he's not as old as like when Orochimaru fought him. Only by a couple years though, because Naruto's about 9, so he's like 3 years younger. But I still think that factors a lot into his battle style. But remember, this is a what if, so I'm not really taking into account all of these things. I'm just simply going off of ideas. And Naruto would catch him off guard. This was because of his tricks. He would throw out poison gas, and Hiruzen would begin breathing it in. This was until a mask would hit his face, helping him. But he was then stabbed in his back by a sword. Yeah, there you go. Breathe in your own blood. I bet it tastes awesome, doesn't it? It might taste gross. You are getting old. It might not be as fresh as someone new. Naruto stabbed into him again. And again. And again. Then another time. Over and over. Hiruzen, by the end of this, well, he was already dead by the end of this. He was dead long before, but Naruto just enjoyed this. He kept stabbing into Hiruzen, laughing and smiling. This was amazing. Killing felt so good to him. This was the first person that Naruto had ever killed, actually. The Hokage. Naruto, well, Hiruzen's body would have, let's say, 80 holes in his back, in his arms, all over. And Naruto would take the hat off of his head. They did have a little blood on it, but he didn't care. It made it look kind of cool. Naruto would sit down in the chair of Hiruzen, looking at his Anbu. Well, while you guys know, we don't have enough serum, do we? Poofy. Or, no, it wasn't Poofy, I'm tripping. Fluffy, show me the bag. He shows him one of the backpacks he was given. Yeah, I forgot to say, I think he gave him one, or I said that. Let's say he gave him multiple. And there wasn't enough left. So Naruto would smile, telling them the ingredients for it, and he tells them to bring him back all the supplies. As Naruto would turn the Hokage's office basically into a laboratory that he used to make this serum, as these Anbu ninjas would control the leaf, while injecting this serum in anyone, and it would allow Naruto to control them. As Naruto would take advantage of this, and here is where we're gonna go a lot off of the canon timeline. Like I don't even know if we're gonna touch it, but we might touch like some key characters, but I don't know if we're finna like touch it all. But yeah, this is when the story is about to get crazy and way more on the what if side. So if you don't really like that, you should stop listening now, because this is about to get wild. 3? No, I don't even want to do 3. 4 more years would pass as Naruto is now 13. He looks a lot different. His hair was a little bit shorter, as he cut it to what his regular canon haircut would be. But his hair does have tints of red because he never washes it and it's just stained blood. He also wears a new outfit, a red and white one. Well, the white one did have blood stains as well, but it still looked sharp to him, with a bow tie in the middle. Naruto looked great, he thought, while sitting up looking in a mirror in the Hokage's office. And he put on his hat as someone walked in reporting that they had found 2 people. One of these people, well, she was a girl, and the other was Shikamaru. Naruto looked at Shikamaru, trying to remember. Then it clicked with him as he snapped. I know you. You're Shukaku's son. And you actually hung out with me before all the crazy stuff happened. Before the real me came out. I appreciate that. I'll let you go to any village you want to. Who are you? Ino would look at Naruto. I'm Ino, she would say, nervous, as her hands were tied up. I don't care, you're with Shikamaru, you can leave. I don't have any... Well, you can leave if you don't laugh at my jokes. Naruto would jump onto the desk of the Hokage and start laughing. Shikamaru would look at Ino and tell her to play cool, as they might be able to get out of this, as Naruto could be a man of his word, and she calls him crazy, but there's no other choice. Naruto would then sit down and start to swing his legs as he looked at them. Okay. Well, let me think of some jokes. Naruto sat in silence for a couple seconds until two of his clones would pop out from beside them and start to tickle them. Each of them began laughing, and this made Naruto laugh, as well as the Anbu members in the room, as the room was filled with it, until it all stopped when Naruto said, "That was a funny joke." Well, it wasn't a joke. I don't count that. I'll still let you guys go. I'll catch you later, Shikamaru. Maybe we'll meet up in the future. Or maybe you think you can make your own village and fight mine? It'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? Shikamaru looks at Naruto, as he then says, "Yeah, I'll make it a promise. I'll defeat you and bring the real Naruto back." That was a funny joke as well. Naruto then would flip back onto the desk and sit down. Yeah, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't even know if he still exists. That me doesn't live here anymore. Well, I don't have time to tell you about me. You should get going. Make sure they leave safely. The Anbu members would nod and escort the two of them, along with many other people who Shikamaru rescues. I don't want to say all their names, but let's say this included the Konoha... Was it 15? No, it wasn't 15. I think it was the Konoha 12. Or basically 11, because... No, I think it'd still be 12, because... Naruto... Well, basically, we'll replace Naruto with Sasuke, as they would all leave, as they were the only ones left. Even Itachi had fell to the serum. Naruto had injected it into every person within the Leaf Village, as he controlled everything. And sure, it wasn't a stable government, but it sure was a funny one. Naruto did enjoy every second of it, as he could walk the streets freely. And during the 4 years, he was trained by the best of the best who were there, and his strength, surprisingly, was that of a high Jonin, almost reaching into the Kage level. I think I'll just explain that a little bit. Naruto could be trained, he killed Hiruzen, but he could be trained by a corrupted Kakashi, Jiraiya, Azuma, Kurenai Genjutsu, Might Guy and Taijutsu, really any Jonin who entered the village. And if he did meet Jiraiya, I feel like he would know a little bit about Tsunade, so she would be here as well as a head medical doctor, and she would actually help Naruto create a lot of his serum. And Naruto would know... Let's see. Yeah. No. No, wait, let me think. I'm trying to debate on if I want Naruto to get Sage Mode here, but I feel like it hasn't come up yet. I don't know. I don't really feel like this Naruto would want it, because you have to sit and wait. But he would know the Rasengan. I can't tell you that. He would know the Rasengan. And he would actually know how to do like a Rasengan-sized tailed beast bomb from Kurama. And since Tsunade is there, she could break a seal and actually release Kurama for him, giving him basically full control. Or, how do I say this? Let me think. Alright, I came back. For you guys, that was literally an instant. For me, that was literally probably like 5 or 6 minutes. He basically can use like KCM2 that we see in the War Arc, because of like their similar personalities here and like how connected they are through trauma. Naruto would wonder, as someone would bring him a map, explaining that there were a lot more other just drew a blank. A lot more villages in the world. I'm tripping right now. It's mad late. I'm gonna finish it though. Let's keep going. You guys, it's finished for you guys because you're just watching the video. But I digress. Let's keep going. Naruto had, after reading this map, he would wonder what village to go for next, as he does want to seek out one person the last of the 3 legendary Sannin, Orochimaru. Naruto heads that way immediately, leaving the village behind, as he brings a couple Anbu members with him, but he feels like he doesn't need them. He brings, I think, let's go with 2, along with Jiraiya and Tsunade, making their group party a total of 5 as he leaves Kakashi in control of the village for a while. He manages to make it to Orochimaru's hideout and infects as many people as he can while walking in, and, whoa, I forgot about this. He does have access to the Scroll of Sealing since it basically is in the Hokage building, and he sends out, 100 shadow clones that all run through, injecting more serum and finding Orochimaru, and I don't think it would be hard for him to inject that serum either. Orochimaru is then joined into his party as he has control of all 3 legendary Sannin. Now that's an army. Let's see. Let's make this a little crazy. Let's go crazier with this one. Naruto has, his most intelligent group of people, the Uchiha and the Nara clan members, all sit in a room together and come up with a plan to invade the Sand Village, as Naruto wants to go there next. As they would do this would probably take them, I think, for an effective plan that Naruto would want to follow or just do, or one that's fun. And to get the supplies and prepare for like an all-out war, let's say 6 to 8 months. So let's go with the longer. I want to go with the longer one. 8 months. So Naruto, no, he's not 14. That's not a year. I'm tripping. So yeah, 8 months as they would then head on to the Sand Village. They head to the sand, and the sand has no clue what's about to hit them, as Naruto would walk in himself, saying that he's the Hokage and he wants to greet the Sand's Kage. By now they would have one, as I think, let's think about it. Let's just say it's Gaara though, but he's not the same Gaara that we know. He's a much more harsh ruler. Naruto meets up with him, and Gaara is surprised to see that a child like him is the Kage of the Leaf, as he was told it was an old man, but maybe he died and put this kid in charge, maybe? It doesn't really make sense to him. Naruto talks with him while his guards stand behind him, as Kurama would then say something to Naruto. He explains that Gaara is also a Jinchuriki, and Naruto gets ecstatic by this, going off topic and asking Gaara, what's his tailed beast's name? Gaara was surprised. How did Naruto know this? Was Naruto also a tailed beast? Naruto explains it, and he says he has the 9 tails. This puts him on high alert, and Naruto notices this as he smiles. Gotcha! Naruto, from his sleeve, throws out a serum that injects itself into Gaara's neck, as it would just, it connects with his bloodline, changing him. As Naruto would leave him with, let's say, huge bags full of this serum, and he tells Gaara to distribute this to all of his people, as this was fun for him. Naruto tells Gaara to do this and then meet up with him at the cloud. Yeah, Naruto's plan that was like made by the Uchiha and the Nara clan, it wasn't to invade the sand. No, it was to use the sand to help him invade all the other villages. He only wanted to do this to have more fun with it, but he figured 2 villages going against the rest would be way more fun than just one versus another each time. And I really hate to say this or repeat myself, but Naruto does this for every remaining village, and I mean every village. The Cloud Village, he already did it to the Leaf in the beginning. We just did it to the Sand. So let's see, the Cloud, the Stone, Hidden Rain, yeah, he takes over the Akatsuki as well. And any town that he finds, yeah, it's done. Land of Waves, Zabuza, and Haku, done. And there's one more. I think it's the what? Ooh, yeah, see, this is my problem. I be forgetting. You know the village that's on that little island, the Mist Village. Jeez, my memory is terrible. But yeah, he does it to all of the rest of the villages, and I don't think I really need to go over, as no one can really contest this type of Naruto. The only person, who's able to avoid this is Black Zetsu, who's just not affected by it. But everyone else, they are. Even Obito, even he gets injected when he wasn't using his intangibility. So yeah, this is basically it. I didn't want to really like stretch it out, but this was basically as much as I could do with this type of story. Or at least this is as much I can do with this type of story the way that I took it. You know what I mean? So this is the end, and I hope you all did enjoy it, as this was more one of my like joking what ifs that's not really serious to me. I just wanted to do it because it'd be a funny idea, and I know the Batman movie just came out, so I felt like it was like, I don't know, I felt like it was like the right time to do it. I don't know how well it's gonna do, and I don't really care how well it's gonna do. I just felt like this was a funny idea for me to do. Hopefully it does well, because my family was listening to me record this. Well, they weren't listening, you know what I mean? Like, they could hear me, and they might think I'm crazy after this, but that doesn't matter. Just watch the video. And if you haven't, well, if you like videos like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new, or you just haven't already, as it helps me out a lot. I hope you all have a great day, night, or evening, as this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.